Hello, everyone. Joyce here. I want to quickly explain my absence because, as you know, I made a post saying, "Hey, I'm leaving because of personal reasons," and I had some issues going on. The reason was because my grandmother died, so I was out for a while because she had dementia. She had I'm trying to remember what it was. It was dementia, and she had kidney failure towards the end, and she had heart arrhythmia, but she had that for like 2 years. She was in stage four, so in the end, it was honestly a mercy, and I'm happy she's at peace now. But yeah, I had to leave because of that, because I didn't want to like post videos during that sensitive time. And to be fair, I did get to spend some time with her before she passed, because on Tuesday I got the call that anyone who was related to her was allowed to be dismissed from work to go up and see her. So I was actually currently working on that day, and because my mother had already gone up with one of my uncles, I knew I couldn't get there because we only have one car, and since my mother was driving in that car, and most of my family members don't know how to drive, she's one of two. I couldn't get up there, so I was like, okay, I'll just work the Tuesday, and then I'll go ahead. For context, I did not mean to not post Monday. I meant to post Monday, but it was a case of I forgot to post. Then I got the dismissal, so then I was like, okay, well, it's good that I didn't post Monday anyways. But yeah. Anyways, Wednesday I actually went. I since I was off by that point because I had grievance. I went up and two of my uncles, because it's my only two uncles on my mother's side, and my mother. We sat there with her for hours. We went up at like 9 a.m. and came down at 4 p.m. So we stayed like the whole time up there. Excuse me. She was asleep but lucid. It's hard to say, but I at one point, because they all are kind of smokers, they all went outside. I sat with her for a bit with my godparents, and yeah, she did give a little response when my godmother was like, "Oh, Anthony's here," and that was all nice because she, even though her eyes were closed, she kind of mumbled my name, and she kind of when my godmother asked another question, she kind of mumbled a yeah. And the thing is, she hadn't really been responding to anyone. She had been kind of just staying in her sleep lucid state. The only times we heard stuff was pain grunts because they either had to move her or they had to shower her or whatever, and or they need to like brush her teeth and everything. That was the only other time we ever got sound out of her. But yeah, so it was kind of nice that the fact that she actually was able to she was conscious enough to know that I was there, because I don't want to be like I don't want to like rub it in anyone's face. I've been labeled as the favorite grandkid. Well, yeah, grandkid for a long time by her, and it's a name I've held, but I never feel like I earned, and to this day I still don't feel like I've earned it. But it's always an honor that I've kept, and I was just kind of happy that she got to know that I was there. At 4 p.m., me and my mother went home, and we were just flat out exhausted. So I went to bed for a bit. She went to bed as well at roughly like 6, because I was gonna wake up at 7, but like half 6, my mother went. Oh, because the doctor said if breathing had changed, then that would mean that it was the end. So my mother got a call saying the breathing had changed, but she wasn't sure, so she woke me up and said breathing changed, and I said, "Hey, do you want me to go with you, because if this is anything bad, I would like to be there." And she went, "I don't think the breathing has changed, because when on Monday we had gotten the word that it could be between, no, it was the Friday before that, we had gotten between the life expectancy between 24 hours and maybe a month. So we had no idea. So the fact that the breathing had changed, my mother was unsure that this actually was, because everyone had been on edge. So she went away. I didn't. I went back to sleep for another hour or two. It was, I'd say, 8, maybe 9 p.m. I kind of woke up, and then a minute later I got called by my mother, and she said, in no certain words, she passed. And I felt horrible because I actually wasn't there, and I said that I would have been, I wanted to be there so that my mother and my uncle, who had taken care of her for years, hadn't weren't alone. But I didn't get a chance to be there. Uh, they even then when they said that when they got there, because a lot of them, only a few of them had been there at the beginning of around 7. They thought that the person who had called was, in no certain terms, lying, unsure, because at the time the breathing had not changed from how they were speaking, from how my mother and my uncle spoke about it. The breathing had not changed. It still sounded the same kind of like labored breathing pattern that it was. So they had for like an hour to 2 hours they thought that this person had lied and that they were just seeking a bit of attention. Again, unsure, but a lot of family members started arriving apparently. Because I don't know, I don't remember how many brothers and sisters she has, but she has like 2 or 3 that were available, I believe, and there was a bunch of like first and second cousins that had arrived in said room, because the room it was big, but it wasn't massive, but because it was palliative care, because which is where they take them off all the medication, I guess, for like morphine and all that. So from what my mother said, there was about 16 people in the room, and eventually she just passed. What I suggest is that because of a lot of the people that were there were, well, not a lot, but all the people that were there that were people that she cared about or had a lot of high relations with, that kind of helped release her spirit. I think that's what happened, because I was there early on in the day, and then because I left with with the basically her immediate kids, aka my mother and my uncles, and the fact that her brothers, sisters, and their kids, aka my first and second cousins, kind of like deal. I think it gave her peace, and the trying to remember. So she died on Wednesday. No, no. Well, she died Wednesday night, so that means Thursday. What even happened Thursday? Because Friday was the removal. Um, Thursday was Oh God, I actually can't. I kind of film this on the fly. Oh, what even happened Thursday? I believe it was all of us just gathering in said funeral home. I believe that's what it was. It was that we all gathered in the funeral home and got to see her and got to pay a bit of respects. Then Friday was the removal. So there was a bunch of us just in a room, and unfortunately, where the funeral home was positioned was on a very busy street in town. I don't want to say what town I'm in, but if you've been around the channel, you know where I'm kind of positioned. I'm not trying to get emotional, but but anyways, it was kind of positioned on a very busy street because it's like a small like corner like shop kind of thing where it was like on a long ass busy street with like 20 on each side, and it's like a one-way road, but it's actually two-way, so it's like one-way length of one way, but it actually is two ways for cars. But yeah, it was. So it was a case like both doors opened, so people came in one end and then they exited the other end. So yeah, it was 2.5 hours of awkwardness. I would have after that. It was sorry, this is bothering me, but it was they had to carry the coffin, and we did the walking behind the hearse, which was sad. One of my sisters, because she was like because she was close enough that like it was only like a few hours drive that she came down, so she missed most of the removal because of it was a long ass drive. But she came down for like the last like 30 minutes, hour of it, so she walked with the hearse behind with all of us, which was kind of awesome because I hadn't seen her since Christmas. So yeah, I actually met one or two coworkers who came in, which for those who see this and those who actually arrived, I'm actually very grateful that you attended because it was just it warms my heart. Did the walking behind the hearse. I would have loved to actually help carry the coffin, but I am 5'2", so I can't help. The closest person who I could have carried it with was my other cousin, doubtless Dev, cause I'd say he's like 5'4", 5'6". So me and him are kind of close enough on height where I'm here and he's here. But the people who carried it were like my two of my uncles. Was it two of my uncles? One of my cousins. I'll call him Scarlet, but yeah, Scarlet, his father, because they're very close in height. One of my mother's second cousins, I believe, cousin to her, second cousin to me, I believe. And I'm trying to remember who the last person was. I always screw up on the last person. Who was it? Fuck. I believe it was another second cousin to me. Yeah. Oh yeah. It was my godparents' son, which would be for my godparents are my mother's grandparents kind of deal. So uh yeah, so it was the six of them, and they're all kind of, let's say, around 5'8" ish. So like I think lowest person was probably 5'6", maybe 5'7", and the tallest person was like 5'9". So like they had a consistent height thing, which means I was out of the equation, and doubtless was as well. We could have tagged in if needed be, but we would have been like this for the coffin, so it was kind of not feasible for us. Funeral was it was fine. It was a good send off, as good as can be. um, I did see her get lowered, and I was actually, because the day it was raining, so pissing down from the heavens, which is always nice, and I mean like really heavy. Sorry, ate before doing this as well. It's not great, but yeah, it was really pissing it down. So I was actually holding an umbrella. I had a Doubtless, because Doubtless has a sister. I was actually I kind of got paired up with her. Originally, I was supposed to be paired up with my sister, but I was with her, and Doubtless, aka Dev, was with my sister. So I was kind of walking with Doubtless's sister. And I was just holding the umbrella, and I was just keeping her dry. Because, well, because it was the nice thing to do. Because my sister had an umbrella, I had an umbrella, and my mother had a bigger umbrella. So I was like, I'm just gonna. I even joked and was like, I'm gonna keep you protected. And she had a hood, and I had I had a leather jacket because my uncle, I look like my uncle, so we both have like leather jackets. Mine's like a full black one. His kind of like blackish brown. So he didn't wear his, but I wore mine because I don't actually have like a suit jacket. But I kind of thought that that was something that she'd appreciate because I really do look like him. So yeah, I was just keeping her protected, and then later that day we just had a bit of afters, and yeah, I got to meet a lot of cousins, and I was actually put on a babysitting duty because a couple of my cousins are younger. One is like 13, 12, and the other one's 8. So I was kind of being said babysitter. I could have joined the adult conversations, but I technically am the youngest around here, other than them. So, crazy for the 21-year-old to be the youngest. But me and Dallas were entertaining them before he left because his family was the first one to leave. So we just played Exploding Kittens and Doppel, just keep him entertained, and it was a good day overall. I still haven't cried yet. That's one thing I will admit. I have had my waves of emotions, and yeah, I can tell my voice is even getting shaky, but I'm not gonna cry for this video because again I still haven't yet, but I could be in like 2 days. It could be when I'm streaming. Yeah, my eyes have gotten watery here and there, and I have gotten emotional, but I've not cried yet, so that's why I don't want to make a whole song and dance of, oh, I'm gonna cry on camera, because I can't cry on command. It's not gonna happen. It'll happen when it happens, but yeah, it's been wild, and the only reason I'm putting this now is because I'm actually put back to work. And again, I am a little annoyed about this. I thought I was gonna get like a week and a half to 2 weeks to cause grievance, but where our state rule is it's only 3 days. So and if you're like, oh, but what about Saturday? Saturday I had off anyways, so technically I only got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off. So, and I had Saturday and Sunday off because I don't work those days anyways. Because Sunday's only for one part timer to set up for Monday, and Saturdays I've been getting off anyways because of how part timers and everything I had mentioned on a stream or so. So, yeah, I only got the 3 days. So by the time this is recorded and posted in a few hours, I will be heading to work for my first time since she's dead, and yeah, it's rough. It's gonna be weird going back into work for a while, and I originally had a plan to do a lot of recordings. I did not get a chance. I only got to do 2 Mario Galaxies, and that was the night that she died, I think. I need to keep my mind off of everything that was going on, but I today did 3 Kingdom Hearts, and I might, depending on the time, I might do a My Sims Kingdom. I don't know. It's just so I can prepare for tomorrow, aka today, but in a few hours. But yeah, it's been rough. I generally didn't want to come back this early for the streaming stuff, but it's only streaming and recording stuff. But just from how everything is and the fact that I'm heading back to work, it's like I might as well start going back into recording. I could have taken another week, and some part of me thinks I should have, just so I could get back into regularly doing work and, being able to get back into a flow and then being able to put videos back on top of that. But since work is deciding to call me back in, because a little jab here, I met one of my bosses, on the day of the funeral because I had to go in to go get wings for just kind of an appetizer. So I kind of I kind of went into my work. So I met him and he was like, "Oh shit, I didn't know the funeral was today." He said and then when I said it was today, today is in Friday, he was like, "Oh, so the removal was yesterday." And he's like, "Shit, I would have arrived for that. I'm so sorry." And then I said, "Yeah, it's fine." And he said, "Take all the time you need." So, and yeah, that if he said take all the time you need, and I've said to a few people that I'd see them in a week, and my actual boss I had met, and I had actually texted, and when I say the first guy was the boss of the whole shop, so he's kind of like the manager of the Rota, but he also kind of just oversees the actual shop side. The other boss that I'm talking about right now is the chef, the one that I would have the one she actually was actually at the funeral. I shook hands with her and I did thank her for arriving. And I texted her kind of being like, "Actually, am I working tomorrow?" And she said, "Yeah." And then said, "This person, this person would be considered a manager." Said that I would be in. And I was like, I didn't say anything. I just said, "Okay." But in my head, I was like, "The fuck?" She didn't even, like, first of all, this person, and I know I'm going to get a little mad here, and I know I shouldn't be talking about work stuff, but it's only because it got me a little mad that it was just kind of a case of, like, this person didn't even come to the removal, didn't come to the funeral. I told them last, technically, about it, not on purpose, but it's just because I didn't see this person. And they just kind of signed my name off. To be fair, I had asked, one or two of my coworkers when I was there. I said, how has it been? They said, "It's been rough since you've been gone," because I'm the only dishwasher in the cafe, and I know it's a little rant, and I know I really shouldn't be doing this, but it's just a case of, like, it's annoying. It's just annoying, and even the fact that I'm still in just pajamas, I would usually throw on a shirt to be, like, seem more formal, even if it's just a Dragon Ball shirt, but it's just a case of, like, it's late, and a lot has been going on, and the fact that knowing that I'm going to be working a few hours has just kind of put my head in a bit of a spin, and I know one or two people from work are going to see this. I don't know when they'll see it. They might see it in like 3 days, but like it's just a case of like it's rough. It's rough. I'm still trying to process everything. I still think it's too early to go back to work, but I'm penciled in. What can I do? Just thank you all for watching, and to anyone who's sticking around and watching this, I thank you for understanding my current predicament, and I am again going to be back into recording videos anyway, so I will be back hitting the ground running. So thank you all, and I will see you tomorrow tomorrow/today for My Sims Kingdom. Anyways, catch you later, guys.